Welcome to ASO Television News at 3. I am Rosemary Ukokotega. The headlines. Federal government applauds suspension of Oyo teachers' strike. NOA, INEC strengthen partnership on voter education ahead of 2027 polls. Court affirms Senator David Mark-led leadership of ADC. In business, NDIC commences liquidation of failed 46 microfinance banks. The federal government has welcomed the suspension of the teachers' strike in Oyo State, describing the Ministry of Education says the resolution followed sustained engagement between the Oyo State government and leadership of the Nigeria Union of Teachers at the national, zonal and state levels, paving the way for teachers to return to classrooms. According to the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, the successful resolution reflects collective commitment of all stakeholders to place the interests, safety and future of learners above every other consideration. Dr. Alausa commended Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde for his leadership and commitment to resolving the impasse through dialogue. The minister also appreciated leadership of the Nigeria Union of Teachers at the national, zonal and Oyo State levels for demonstrating statesmanship and putting the interest of learners first in reaching an amicable resolution. He affirmed the federal government's commitment to ensuring that every Nigerian child has uninterrupted access to quality education, stressing that attempts to disrupt learning through insecurity will not prevent children from enjoying their rights to education. In line with efforts to reduce the number of out-of-school children, the federal government has urged state governments, local government authorities and private school owners to fully participate in the digitalized Nigeria Education Management Information System. Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, made the call during the official launch of the platform in Abuja and said that quality education reforms can only succeed when backed by credible and comprehensive data. The digital platform provides detailed information on classrooms, teachers' enrollment, computer facilities, water, sanitation and hygiene infrastructure, as well as other indicators needed for effective monitoring and supervision. The minister also acknowledged the contributions of ICT experts and international collaborators who worked with Nigeria to build an integrated and sustainable education information system. He said the government would continue strengthening collaboration with development partners to ensure that the platform remains functional, inclusive and beneficial to every level of the education sector. The federal government has flagged off the construction of Section 1 of the 700-kilometer Akwanga-Jos Bauchi-Gombe-Biu-Maiduguri Superhighway. Speaking during the flag off ceremony held in Akwanga, Nasarawa State, President Bola Tinubu, represented by the National Chairman of All Progressives Congress (APC), Professor Netawe Yilwada, described the project as one of the President's 4 Renewed Hope Legacy Road projects designed to transform Nigeria's transportation network across the north, central and northeast geopolitical zones. He said the first phase of the project covers approximately 125 kilometers from Akwanga in Nasarawa State to Jos in Plateau State and forms part of the larger 6-lane continuously reinforced concrete pavement superhighway stretching through Nasarawa, Kaduna Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, Yobe and Borno states. In his remarks, Minister of Works Engineer David Umahi disclosed that 111 billion naira has been released for the immediate takeoff of the project, stressing that the gesture demonstrates President Tinubu's determination to deliver the project on record time. The Works Minister, commending President Tinubu for his untiring support for infrastructure development, urged the contractor to deliver quality work while engaging local communities. He explained that the Akwanga-Maiduguri Superhighway is one of 4 legacy highway corridors being implemented simultaneously by the federal government alongside the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, the Sokoto-Badagry, and the Calabar-Abuja Trans-Sahara Superhighways. Also speaking at the event, Minister of Information and National Orientation Alhaji Muhammad Idris highlighted the federal government's unprecedented investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and economic reforms, noting that the Renewed Hope agenda is delivering tangible benefits across all sectors in the country. Speaking on behalf of the benefiting states, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State said the commencement of the project is the fulfillment of a long-standing aspiration of the people of the region and commended the federal government for making its promise a reality. The contractor, responding to the Minister of Works, assured that the company would deliver the project in time for the benefits of Nigerians. The federal government has reduced vehicle import levies to lower prices while also flagging off the newly introduced green tax. An update by the Nigeria Customs Service on Wednesday noted that the green tax surcharge implementation would begin on July 1, 2026 as part of the 2026 fiscal policy measure to support environmental sustainability while also reducing the import levy on new vehicles from 20% to 10% and that of used vehicles from 15% to 5% to ease the cost of vehicle importation. The implementation commenced under the 2026 fiscal policy measures and also features key guidelines such as the reduction of duties for fully built passenger vehicles from 70 to 40%. A new environmental surcharge ranging between 2 and 4% applies to higher engine patrol vehicles exceeding 2,000 cc. Mass transit buses, electric vehicles, and small engine cars less than 2,000 cc are exempted. Import duties have also oil to 28.75%. Under the measures, import duties on agriculture and manufacturing machinery have been completely removed, while waste PET has been added to the export prohibition list to prioritize the domestic recycling industry. The Benue State government, alongside Nigeria Police Force, has paid a condolence visit to the family of the late Meyatia Lakatu Breeders Association of Nigeria Mark Band leader Alhaji Rizku Muhammad in Ohimini local government area. The delegation, led by the Deputy Governor on behalf of the Benue State Commissioner of Police, representatives of the Sultan of Sokoto, Mark Band officials, other security agencies, and members of the deceased family. During the visit, the delegation expressed sympathy to the bereaved family and appealed to them, as well as members of the Fulani community, to remain peaceful and avoid any form of reprisal or self-help. The government and security agencies assured the family that a thorough investigation was underway and pledged that those responsible for the killing would be identified and brought to justice. Police said the case is being handled by the State Criminal Investigation Department. The Benue State government reaffirmed its commitment to protecting lives and maintaining peace across the state, while urging residents to support ongoing investigations by providing credible information to security agencies. The Defense Headquarters has announced that troops engaged in internal security operations across the country recorded significant successes over the past 3 months, neutralizing 662 terrorists and other criminal elements in various theaters of operation. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, who reviewed the figures during a monthly briefing with journalists in Abuja, disclosed that troops arrested 1,084 suspects, rescued 951 kidnapped victims, and destroyed 12 illegal refining sites in the month of June and throughout the second quarter across the country.
On the 11th, 11 suspected collaborators were also intercepted in 2 vehicles at Kekeno in Kukawa local government area, further degrading terrorist intelligence and logistics networks. Then on the 22nd, 2 suspected terrorist spies were neutralized at Banki in Bama local government area after being observed crossing the border fence into Nigeria to monitor troop movements. On the 29th, following a terrorist attack and the abduction of students from the government day secondary school in Lassa, in Askira Uba, troops swiftly responded with the terrorists and successfully defeated them, resulting in the rescue of 7 school children as well as a class teacher and the recovery of 7 motorcycles. However, a soldier and a member of the Civilian Joint Task Force paid the ultimate price.
Covered more than 406 automotive gas oil, dual-purpose kerosene, and premium motor spirit. He further disclosed that in June 2026 alone and facilitated the surrender of 11 insurgents. Updating on theater-by-theater breakdown of military operations, the Director Defense Media Operations said troops of Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hardin Kai neutralized 76 terrorists, arrested 97 suspects, rescued 465 kidnapped victims, and facilitated the surrender of 11 insurgents and their family members. 3 cattle herders have reportedly been killed and another injured in an ambush by unidentified gunmen while grazing livestock in the Jero Rafin Bauna area of Jos South local government area of Plateau State. The chairman of the Meati Ali Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in Plateau State, Alhaji Ibrahim Yusuf Babayaro, confirmed the incident and condemned the attack. He called on security agencies to conduct a thorough. According to Babayaro, the bodies of the 3 victims were discovered in a nearby forest after an extensive search by members of the community. He alleged the victims were brutally killed during the attack. The association chairman also claimed that the latest incident occurred barely 2 weeks after 4 other herders were reportedly killed in the same area, with their bodies yet to be recovered. He urged authorities to stress his command had not issued an official statement, while the circumstances surrounding the attack and the identity of the perpetrators remain unclear. This is ASO News at 3. Watch us live on DSTV 392, StarTimes TV 127, Free TV 507 on the UHF band channel 38. Coming up after the break, NOA, INEC strengthened partnership on voter. Stay with us.
Sharply grab your GoTV decoder, GoTenna plus 1 month jolly for only 15,000 naira. Live on SuperSport.
Leadership of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), Justice Musa Liman, in a judgment, also dismissed the suit filed by the House of Representatives member Mr. Leke Abejide, challenging Mark and Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola as national chairman and national secretary of the party for lacking in merit. Justice Liman upheld the preliminary objections filed by ADC Chief Ralph Nwosu Mark and Aregbesola, which challenged Abejide's suit. Justice Liman also resolved the 3 issues in the substantive suit in favor of the defendants on whether Mark, the former Senate President, and Aregbesola, who was Mark and the former Senate President and Aregbesola, who was the former governor of Osun, emerged as leaders of the party in compliance with enabling laws. The judge resolved this against Abejide, the plaintiff in the suit. The judge agreed that the disputed July 2, 2025 meeting of the party was a stakeholder meeting which preceded the party's National Executive Council meeting held on July 29, 2025. That produced Mark and Aregbesola as party leaders, which was monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Justice Liman therefore declared that the emergence of Mark and Aregbesola as leaders of the ADC was valid and in accordance with the Constitution. Chairman of Kuje Area Council, Mr. Danjuma Samuel Shokolo, alongside his deputy, Mrs. Asabe Boy, has extended his familiarization tour to the Kuje local government to the Kuje local of staff during the visit. The chairman reaffirmed his administration's commitment to transforming the education sector, stressing that to ensure a more conducive environment for learning and teaching. Speaking on the achievements of the LEA, Mr. Shokolo commended teachers who guided pupils of Science Primary School Kuje to victory at an inter-school camp to realize their full potential. Earlier, the local education secretary, Comrade Zakara Yunusa, described the chairman's visit as a morale booster for staff and pledged the LEA's full support and cooperation towards the success of his administration. Comrade Zakara also highlighted some of the major challenges confronting the LEA and expressed optimism that the chairman would address them to improve the standard of education in Kuje Area Council. The visit was attended by the Chief of Staff to the Chairman, the Council Secretary, Senior Special Assistant to the Chairman, heads of departments of the LEA, the Kuje Chairman, efforts to encourage voter or greater citizens' participation ahead of the 2020. Democracy can only thrive when citizens are well informed and actively involved in the electoral process. He noted that lessons from the 2023 general election revealed significant gaps in civic and voter periods. He proposed closer collaboration between INEC's Voter Education Department and the NOA's Department of Civic Values, and the INEC Chairman, Professor Amopitan, identified voter apathy, misinformation and cynicism as key challenges and called for joint grassroots campaigns against vote buying and false information, expressing confidence that the renewed collaboration would boost voter turnout and improve the credibility of the 2021-27. He will serve from now until June ending next year. Awoni Koko took over from Dr. Joy Okoro, whose tenure ended 30th June 2026. Topsy Gimba has the details.
Sikiro Adetona Awonikoko, who is an active Rotarian, provided immediately the template of how the district will be served. He said executive projects and increased membership drive and many outlined.
She has done marvelously well at this point in time. I have to tell you. She has transferred the length and breadth of our district with no age. I will want her to
listed out her achievements in the past 1 year and thanked the members for the support they provided for her to be able to achieve much.
Solar batteries for inverter wall. Well, items listed in the previous was not found in the Rotary Center. 1. Printers. 2. They are listed. We never saw them. White plastic chairs. 9. Only one was found. Table extension wall not found. 1.5 split unit air conditioner not found.
Many past and present television news.
Of the operating licenses of 46 microfinance banks by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) says it has begun the process of liquidating the affected institutions. A statement signed by its head of communication and public of banks as well as the general public that the institutions are no longer authorized to carry out banking business in Nigeria. The NDIC further cautioned members of the public against engaging in any unauthorized transactions with those microfinance banks and any attempt to remove, conceal, retain, or interfere with the assets, records, or properties of the affected institutions, stressing that such actions could constitute a violation of law and attract legal consequences. According to the statement, the corporation already began the process of orderly closure of the failed banks, including their immediate takeover, verification of depositor records, and payment of insured sums to eligible depositors. While reiterating commitment to ensuring depositors' safety, the NDIC disclosed it would keep the depositors and the public informed on an ongoing basis as the liquidation exercise progresses. The revoked microfinance banks include, among others, Merchant MFB, German MFB, Busu MFB, Gold MFB, Zen MFB, formerly Dawakintofa MFB, Bompai MFB, Ajwa MFB, formerly Gezewa, now Digital MFB, and Christabel Microfinance Bank. Yuri Tielemans scored the latest winning goal in World Cup history as Belgium mounted an incredible comeback from the World Cup on Wednesday. Senegal appeared on course for a first win in a World Cup knockout match since their 2002 debut after taking a 2-0 lead through strikes from Habib Diarra and Ismail Assar in Seattle. However, Belgium forced extra time as Romelu Lukaku and Tielemans scored in the final 5 minutes before the Aston Villa midfielder completed a remarkable turnaround by converting a penalty in the 125th minute. Belgium goes through to a meeting with the United States, but it will be a bitterly painful pill to swallow for Senegal. And as the news at 3, here's a reminder of one of the stories that made headlines. The federal government has welcomed the suspension of the teachers' strike in Oyo State, describing the development as a major victory for dialogue, collaboration, and education of Nigerian children. Many thanks for watching.